Steve, if you could trip, that'd be cool.
Just face me.
Where are we going?
Hold face.
Get it all. Get it all. When I start sobbing, okay, just comfort me. Just comfort me anyway, if you would. Eagle has landed. Repeat, the eagle has landed.
One side is on.
One more here. Okay, guys, today is actually a really, really special time that we get to do something that we've never done before. We got an invite from the Marines to come down to Camp Pendleton, California, San Diego, if you will, and go do some fun stuff. So today we have a huge, huge activity day planned. Checking out copters.
Action-packed.
Action-packed. We got something.
The itinerary is
full.
It's full.
We've got something to do at 8, 9, and 10. Okay, it's going to be so fun. Just a big shout out to anybody out there serving, whether it be Army, Navy, whatever, first responders, healthcare workers. Right now is a crazy time, as you can tell. We're going to be wearing masks the whole time, but this is an opportunity we get to do, and tomorrow we get to go on a duck hunt. We'll be the first, I think, ever, from what I'm told, to film a hunt on Camp Pendleton, which is pretty dang on special. So it's an honor to
80 degrees.
Big honor for us.
Yeah, as you can see, well, I didn't bring the shorts because I didn't really think about it, but it's going to be 81 today.
It's going to be a little warm.
So, but yeah, we are super excited to be here. We're just going to go through some brief stuff. Camp Pendleton has been doing a lot of conservation stuff. It's from what we've heard and from what we've talked to, it's like this oasis of habitat in the middle of desert.
125,000 acres in the middle of LA and San Diego.
Yes.
Crazy. So
I said they had like 15 plus endangered species.
Yeah.
on
that was
these
something
conservation.
crazy too. So we're going to highlight some of that, and then along with some of our trip of meeting people and getting to interact with some Marines and some heroes and stuff. So it's going to be a pretty special trip, I think. And yeah, we're waiting for them. They're going to pick us up today. We're going to have 2 rigs, and then we're going to do a lot of fun activities today. And then tomorrow's going to be hunt day.
Big shout out to Trent too for doing the paperwork.
Yes.
It
sounds like
make
it was
this
a lot.
happen.
Yeah, I'm now a CPA, by the way. I got my license, and if you need your taxes done, just let me know.
Big logistics guy, right?
Big
Trent's a big logistics
Huge
guy.
logistics guy. So,
It's a big honor, though, for us to be able to come
man.
down here and do this.
it is, yeah. Just for them to ask us to come down. So initially they want us to come down on the Marine's birthday, which was November 8th
Yeah.
or something. And anyway, we couldn't come down. We were mule deer hunting at the time, so now is the time that this is Martin Luther King weekend is what it is. So there won't be as much training going on just because a lot of the Marines are gone. We're only going to be down here for 2 days, but maybe you never know. One of these days we'll get to come back. And yeah, we're excited. We don't know what to expect. All we know is we just get to meet some awesome people and hear some great stories. So it's an honor to be here.
Morning, Tyler.
Morning.
Hey, Steve, forgot. Boy, my daughter was like, they left. She came running down right after you got back.
I thought about that later. I'm like, I hope we get to meet up again.
Yeah, they're going to come out tonight to the dinner and stuff.
Good. Okay.
Major Patterson's running behind schedule, so I'm just going to take you on the base.
There's a lot of people going into work.
Holy moly.
Wow.
He's putting his pad. If there's one little thing, like my mom was a cop, because they were 2 years ahead of me, but like I said, I grew up playing ball.
You gotta remember that thing?
How'd you guys get in here?
We need to see some ID.
Need to see ID.
How's that iced mocha?
Oh, dude.
Is that money?
Rockin'. Yeah. I picked up my speech like 16%
Should we bring our
already.
IDs with us?
Yeah, so we're at the firefighting side of the Marine base. We're learning as we go.
Oh, yeah.
Learning as we go. We can ask any questions, and that's going to happen a lot today.
There's gonna be a lot of
questions.
Brett's ear's going to be just bleeding by the end of the day. Please, not again. Let's just back her down. Joe?
Steve.
Steve?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Trent.
Trent.
Nice to meet you, man.
Eric.
Eric?
Nice to meet you.
Eric?
Tyler, nice to meet
Tyler.
you.
Yeah. Saw you guys' packed flight on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was awesome.
Packed.
It was awesome.
How are you? We finally get to meet you.
Yeah,
face to face. I ain't met him yet either.
It's a pleasure to be here, man. Really
Glad you guys
pleasure.
are- A little warmer down here?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Good.
Yeah, it's not raining sideways here. It's weird. It's weird.
It is.
We woke up this morning, it was different.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Good.
How are you? I'm Trent.
Trent, I'm Evan.
Evan, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Trent.
Steve.
Steve, nice to meet you.
Eric.
Eric, nice to meet you.
Tyler,
What's up,
nice
man?
to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Tyler. How you guys doing?
Great, man.
Good.
Yeah?
It is a pleasure to be here.
XO, right?
Yeah.
XO 303, so the squadron that trains all our attack helicopter pilots.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yep. And so we got a couple birds on the line we can go check out and show you guys what we do. Excuse me, I'll be right back.
I'm gonna show them a P19 real quick.
I'll come grab you in a sec.
Yeah, so I'll show you some of our stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
So these are the newest fire truck in the Marine Corps. It replaced our legacy trucks that were from the 1980s.
These are the P19 Romeo. The R stands for replacement. They came out in like 2018, 2019. I remember seeing my first one at the schoolhouse. Any specs you guys want to know in particular?
Just check them out.
Yeah,
This
let's check
is
them
cool.
out.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
They carry 1,000 gallons.
The hand lineman sits right there, so it's hand lineman, driver, the turret man, which operates the joysticks, which are these water cannons on the front. And then
the joysticks before?
yeah.
Okay.
And then rescue man. I'm taking this mask off. The rescue man sits on the far right side, and he's the one that gets out and actually would go into the scene.
Now, is it mostly water, or do you have a foaming agent, or
It's
how do you guys-
1,000 gallons of water and 130 gallons of foam.
Okay.
And there's a system on the truck that mixes the two. It's like a 3%, 6%
Yeah.
mixture. Depending on, you'd only really use 6% if you have
Once the
salt
hose
water
is
in the
charged,
tank.
what do you have for runtime on 1,000 gallons? Like, what are you looking at?
Probably go through all your water in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it pumps water.
If you're using the turrets especially.
That's the reason why we have 4 of them. and a tanker.
And so, is there any structural stuff? Is this all just for aviation stuff, or is structural as well?
These are specifically designed to fight aircraft fires. Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to get the water on
As
the
quick as you
aircraft
can.
as fast as possible.
I
They
gotcha.
can drive and pump water at the same time out of the turrets.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not on like a PTO. It's a totally different system.
It is.
I got you.
Looks like it. Are you guys going to get to go out on base today and check out the spots?
Yeah, we're gonna.
I know Sergeant Major got a green wing teal already today and blew some shots on mallards, but
Oh, really?
so there's ducks flying.
Is there cinnamon teal here? Do you?
We've killed 9 so far this year.
We're just talking about that.
So, and I've never killed one before, being at Pendleton, and the sergeant major for our squadron. He's first day we go out. He's like, "This is the #1 goal. If I do it, we're gonna mount it, and it's getting mounted right now."
It's going up on the wall.
First duck down was a cinnamon teal drake that morning.
That's no kidding.
Yeah, it was. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll show you questions you guys have, if any. None is okay.
How many birds are here on? Can we call them birds? Can we call them birds?
Yeah, I call them.
Okay. How many here are here on base? Like, is this like the biggest congregation of Hueys?
Yeah, this is the biggest congregation of H1s, is how we put it. AH1, UH1, Hueys and Cobras. Mag 39 has the preponderance of HMLAs, which have H1s in them. So you have 1 squadron out in Hawaii, and you have 2 on the East Coast.
Oh, really? Okay.
You used to have 3, and they're actually, well, yeah, this is the preponderance of them.
Compared to other helicopters, are they like the most powerful for like lifting and picking up and stuff?
No, they're not. 53s, CH-53, which we don't have any. There might be some down at the end of the line. Without getting too nerdy, sometimes we have 53s here. Miramar, south of us, is where we have the West Coast 52 squadrons. Those guys are incredibly powerful. We're normally used to support guys on the ground that are pushing forward. We provide close air support, is what people think of us as. And over the last decade, 2 decades now, we do it together, like Hueys and Cobras. So cool. You get something when you fly with a Huey that you wouldn't have if it was 2 Cobras, and vice versa. If it's 2 Hueys, you're losing some firepower.
I'm assuming, are you a pilot?
I am. I'm a Cobra pilot.
So you're a Cobra?
Yep.
I was going to ask you what's your favorite to fly, but
I've flown both. My favorite to fly is the Cobra. Huey pilots just aren't as good as Cobra pilots as ever.
What's like elevation-wise?
This is a UH-1 Yankee, the lesser of the two, but very useful aircraft. Like I said, it's a utility helicopter, so you can see the rocket pods on it and where the guns mount to the door. You can carry quite a few people in this. I'm gonna open it up for a sec here, and because they took it all down, but nothing's open, so give me a sec.
Okay.
You guys got any questions about the Huey?
Where do we start?
Yeah, no kidding.
You need to fly low for higher threat environments, so that's what those are for.
Okay.
And I've personally known people in America who have had to cut through wires, and those actually work.
Wow.
Which surprised all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
But those guys are still walking around. Tandem cockpit. It's got a 20 mil barrel or a 20 mil machine gun on the front. You can hang 16 Hellfire off it, 2 AIM-9. You can take 76 rockets, fuel tanks. You can do quite a bit with it. Like I said earlier, its only two purposes are looking at stuff and shooting stuff.
So what's this guy's job versus this guy's job?
That's one of the more interesting things. When you had the older Cobra, the back seater was generally flying and the front seater was shooting, generally speaking. There's almost complete compatibility between the two now, so both can do anything. Yeah, so you guys start how we shoot now. Both seats have a controller, and so you can shoot your air-to-air missiles, your air-to-ground missiles, your gun. The only thing you can't shoot with this are rockets. But again, you have controls. You have your collective, like you had in the Huey. You have your cyclic here, and then your pedals are down here. And you can see it's significantly smaller. So it's a 1 to 4. Like for every 4 inches you move the cyclic in a Huey, you only move a 1 inch in a Cobra.
So it's a lot more responsive.
Yes, and it's designed that way just because it's smaller. And so you have all this in the back seat. The only thing you can't do in the front seat is, it's not even worth talking about. You're not really losing any kind of capability.
Wow. So are you always flying? Is there always two of you in?
There's always two. This is a single piloted aircraft, so legally you can fly it from the back seat with nobody in the front seat. I know of nobody who's ever done that.
Okay.
You can legally do it if you needed to. And it's designed so that if somebody gets shot and dies from either seat, the other guy can fly it and still fight it too. Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on the mission now, usually the guy who's flying is in the front because you have better visibility.
Gotcha.
Let's take her up. Let's take her up. Check this out for mountain missiles. I'm sure it's what it is. I would assume this is for mountain missiles. My goodness. These things are impressive.
So they're going to start, so we're going to close this up and head in.
Okay. We're going to see one take off. Couldn't clear the flight through the tower. We're still working on that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I've only had to go past it, I think, once.
Double XL and large. Double XL is not that.
Double X is fine. That'll work.
Double X?
This is gonna
Double
work.
X?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a hiccup with the t-shirt people.
Oh, this is great. Thank you guys so much.
But,
That's
Perfect. Thank you.
Large? Yeah.
Oh, do you know how jealous Jared is?
Thank you so much.
bad.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
This is great.
Thanks for
This is
coming
great.
out.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'll see you guys at the game.
head to
You're
lunch.
gonna be up there.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. I'll
You
get
ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right. Do it. Don't think I need my jacket anymore.
That is awesome. Super stoked. Super stoked.
Dude. Yeah. This is just leg one of the day.
Leg one.
It's barely daylight. It's 85, but it's barely daylight.
It'll be hot out there tomorrow with the blind.
Perfect. Good little ball froth is never bad.
Never a bad thing.
Never bad.
All right, just follow me. We're gonna head to the game warden, do some introductions there, and then from there we're gonna drop in on some limited mobility hunters who are in their blind. And they've been successful so far this morning, is what I've been told. So
Good.
they got some ducks.
Awesome.
Good. All right. Sounds good.
I just sent a group text to the boys to tell them there's a possibility of cinnamon teal. They're all
jacked up.
they're all jealous.
Limit.
He goes, there's no red tape over there. I'm not gonna make it sound like it's gonna seal because the attrition rate.
Mike, nice to meet you.
Gordon, nice to meet you.
Tyler,
Hey,
nice
how
to meet
you
you.
doing, Tyler?
Nice to meet you, Eric. Tyler, nice to meet you.
Tyler, Eric.
First things first, we need licenses.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So
Unless you want to waive that, that's totally on you.
well, I figure we'll hit the PX.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. They're really good at it. A lot of times you go places and they make it look hard to sell a license. They make it look easy, so that's good.
And
Yeah.
and as far as normally you need the state license and then the base permit as well. The base permit is
waived. That's
is
one thing we
waived.
can waive.
So-
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you'll be present with us, obviously, too.
Yeah. No, we're just happy to have you. And then the state, you know, all that money goes back to you know all the resources. So you guys get that.
Yeah. No. So what from like what we've read and what Brett showed me and stuff like that, you guys are doing a phenomenal job as
Oh,
far
thank
as
you.
conservation side of things. It's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy to be here. I mean, it's a great job, and it's a unique opportunity here in Southern California. It's not a national park; it's a Marine Corps base. You know, so we don't have a lot of the issues that different public lands have. We have different issues, but it's very nice that we have the ability to have the control we do on wildlife management. We're able to do here.
It's a lot of ground to manage.
You know, 220 square miles.
Yeah.
Which is big, but in between San Diego and LA, it's a small miracle. That 220 square miles, that would be like, you know, 1,500 square miles in Wyoming. You know what I mean? It's big.
And I'm sure it's a consistent fight for them. They want it probably too, don't they?
Yeah. You know, the good news is the Marine Corps brings such value to the country that people are happy to have the Marine Corps here.
Good.
Well, we don't have much to see here. We can just show you a quick little tour, and then I think you want to meet some hunters out in the field, right?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Okay, well, come on in. Yeah. So we do three things. We manage the fishing, hunting programs, but we also enforce natural resource law. So there's 18 threatened or endangered species here. So we make sure that all the activities here are following the Endangered Species Act, Marine Mammal Protection Act, the Archaeological Resource Protection Act. We have a lot of archaeological resources here as well. So we don't have much here, but I do like to point some things out. Like we have this bear rug. We don't have bears in California anymore because we shot them all. And then we have a buffalo skin right here. We have buffalo here because we introduced them.
Okay.
We have a beaver right there because the game wardens released beavers here about 50 years ago. We have plenty of ducks. As you're tracking, ducks are doing great because of all the conservation efforts, you know, from duck hunters and all that. We still have mountain lions, but they're in peril because of all the development in the area. They're getting inbred this side of the I-15.
No kidding.
So we're doing work here on base to try and understand more about their genetics and help them out. And we used to have pronghorn on base, records from the first missionaries coming into this area back when this was colonized by Spain showed pronghorn here, but they've since been likely overhunted. So I like to point out these things because the animals we have today are because of everything we did in the past. That way we can point out that what we have in the future depends on what we do today. So as the game wardens, we're enforcing those conservation laws, putting those best management practices in place so that we have something that we're happy with in the future.
Is there any way to get antelope reintroduced onto the base for future hunting purposes?
Yeah, did you bring any? That would be
Well,
great.
I mean, have you
They're
guys,
not very big.
We can do it.
or like Tui elk or any things, or have you guys
Send us a chopper.
all that side of fishing game to maybe?
Yeah,
able
the
to-
elk were not from here. When the bison were introduced, that was before a lot of environmental regulations were in place.
Gotcha.
So something like the pronghorn antelope, it would be the peninsular subspecies, which is extremely endangered.
Oh, okay.
So they come with their own set of rules. and then the base would have to think long and hard about whether they wanted to own that, you know.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's something that I don't get to decide, because yeah, we would have them out there, and you know, but hey, turkeys are coming in.
Oh, cool. Oh, good.
Yeah, just naturally, you know. They were introduced by Department of Fish and Wildlife, and they started moving in. The last 2 years we've had record rainfalls, and so the females are having to expand, and so they've come onto base.
Cool.
And we have
Give them about 10 more years and you'll have
tons of them.
yeah, everyone's excited about that.
So yeah, we had a big walk-in freezer here. I think at one point in rifle season we had 24 deer in here.
Oh wow.
No kidding.
Nice little setup.
That's nice.
It is.
That's really nice.
So,
Whoops, sorry.
try to make it as user-friendly as possible. We set up some electric winch hoists over here for skinny area. So yeah.
You guys have a pretty darn good setup.
You got a great setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can probably just hose it off when you're done.
And then when we're done, we just hose it
Yeah.
off. There's actually a drain built in underneath the cobblestone there to catch all the runoff and stuff. So yeah, it's a great
As
little
all the
process.
deer come here, we found a couple things out. Like one was the different subspecies of deer. Like they have different looking tails. So we have a California subspecies and a southern subspecies. We wouldn't have picked up on that unless we were looking at the trail cameras or at the harvest station. We're pulling the DNA off of all those deer to see how interrelated they are, and even some of the money from the local gas tax is going towards DNA analysis of the mule deer so they can better plan their roads, because maybe some of the roads are cutting off deer populations, and it looks like we have more city deer and more country deer based on the information we're getting. There's not a lot of movement back and forth. So just because of the way with this unique setup here, we're getting a lot of science, plus doing chronic wasting disease sampling and things like that.
With disease?
No, but you don't know unless you check.
Oh,
So,
you have to.
yeah.
No, you have to. The more data you can gather, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a shot.
He was in the wrong spot. How'd that exploder handle on this dirt road?
We're just tip the iceberg on
Just
the
tip the iceberg on the four-wheel drive.
I'm thinking we get up in the hills a little bit and really test it out.
Really test it.
Yeah.
We didn't get insurance. So. That's on you.
Yeah. Well, insurance.
Trent. Caleb, nice to meet you.
Steve, nice to meet you.
Eric.
That's a great display.
Tyler, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. How you doing, sir?
So, what did you guys do this morning?
We killed 5 so far.
Nice.
He's retrieving one right now. He shot it and then couldn't kill it, so I just killed it. 2, I don't even know what we got.
You'll see on Caleb's shirt, he's a member of the Special Liberty Project.
Okay.
I'll let him talk to you all about it, but
Doing that now?
sure.
Oh, sure. I don't know. This is your guys' thing. I'm just out here trying to kill things.
That's that's awesome.
So the Special Liberty Project is a non-profit here in San Diego. I'm actually the head of the California branch. And what we do is we take guys, veterans, hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, right here in the backcountry of San Diego. We also have a mentorship program where we take active duty and retired guys and pair them with Gold Star kids. So if they've lost a father, we pair them with a father. If they've lost a mother, we pair them with a mother. And we do the same thing. We get them together, we get them outdoors, hunting, fishing, camp, teach them those life skills that they may or may not otherwise have. So I put together hunts, guide all over the state. I guide in Arizona for this, Virginia. We're actually doing a pheasant hunt starting tomorrow in El Centro. I got 6 veterans coming out, and we'll be out there all weekend.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It gives me something to do because I'm retired. So I just spend all my time in the outdoors hunting and fishing and being around other veterans, which is nice.
That is awesome.
It's a good gig.
And changing people too.
Yeah.
It's what. So these are the blinds, huh?
Yeah, come check them out.
Is this the number 1 blind or what?
I mean, I don't hunt anything other than number 1.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I wouldn't expect anything less. Is that a cinnamon right there?
Yeah.
Oh, strand.
Oh, we got a cinnamon teal.
That's beautiful.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Is it in season? I'll tell you.
Hold on.
Hold
I
on.
actually shot
Hold
2
on.
of them. We can't find the second
Hold
one.
on.
We gotta hold that.
We are FaceTiming Cody.
I wish you guys were here earlier because I had 2 of them take off and I hit both of them with 1 round, but he hasn't been able to find the other one yet. I let them sit in the water. Both picked up about 6 inches apiece apart and got them both.
Holy cow.
We're visiting a few veterans that are out hunting right now, and
Yeah.
that's a dandy.
And that's the third one. He had a chance at another. This is the third one.
Another one dead. It's just floating.
It's dead already? Yeah, that's the third one today.
Hold up in the sun.
Well, come on out here.
No, it just killed it.
Isn't that pretty?
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's happening, fellas?
How's it going?
How we doing, brother?
Mike.
Mike, Trent. Nice to meet you.
Steve. Good to meet you guys.
Tyler.
Nice to meet you, Tyler.
Yeah, we've got before.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Good.
Did you hammer him?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get him?
Yeah. Laying over there in the middle, just backstroke.
Why don't you just walk in the water and get him?
Because I have you. My bird dog right here.
Bird dog.
You guys, I'll see you in a little bit.
All right, Brett. I'll see you, buddy.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you guys be good.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, I'll see you, buddy.
See you in a little bit.
Yep. I'll see you, man. You guys. Good to meet you, man. Yeah, you too.
Cactus on those, man. That would get you.
Beautiful drive.
That's cool, isn't it?
Cool country.
Yeah.
Nice archery range.
Brett, this is the
barn at the Las Flores Ranch House. Historic ranch house in the distance there, from the 1800s. There's some adobe ruins up on the hill that overlooks the ocean. And Interstate 5 is actually running below us.
Oh, it is?
Right
Oh, really?
here.
Oh, okay.
In between
what's
us
the
and
name
the Las Flores Ranch House.
So they have three different, this is one of the archery ranges right behind me here. They have three different ones on base?
3 different on base.
3 different archery ranges.
This is the newest one here, and it goes out to 60 yards.
How we doing?
Welcome.
I was talking to Joe, and he says a lot, Major Joe, a lot of enlisted guys on base do archery. A ton. Nice. He says a ton. He shoots, and a lot of them don't hunt. They just do archery just for therapy and just for the entertainment value of it. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But he says a lot of them do it. So.
That's awesome.
Take the shot.
Take the shot.
Take the shot.
Jeff, nice to see you.
Nice to meet you too, man.
This is
Trent.
Trent, yep.
Steve.
Nice to meet you.
And Steve,
Yep.
yep.
Uh-huh.
Eric.
And Eric.
Nice
to see you.
And this is
Tyler.
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 meet you.
All right, now see, I've seen you guys on the videos, but you're the guy behind the scenes making it work.
Behind the camera.
That's right.
Rock
right.
on.
Yep.
Cool belt.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. You want to come on in?
Yeah, it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, this has been an experience so far.
Usually warm this week.
Is it?
Jason. Two Jasons, yeah. Nice and easy. Eric, nice to meet you. Steve, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Tyler, nice to meet you.
Tyler, nice to meet you.
Tyler.
Good to meet you. How's your day been?
Great place.
Before I forget, dude, I loved watching that video. You getting that elk. The big one that came in at 27.
Yeah.
And then the one later.
Yeah.
The shots.
Yeah. That was
a really well done.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of emotion and highs.
Oh, yeah.
In those moments.
Builds up all year long and then you just let it go.
Yeah. It's good to have a buddy back here.
Oh yeah.
A pretty old ranch. That's why it looks like this. 127,000 acres that has been preserved, in the camp lifestyle. So this is like Las Flores, Camp Las Flores. This is one of the two of the old adobes that are still around. Structures that are here, part of the northern part of the ranch, and then we have another old adobe structure, which is the main Santa Margarita River Ranch House, which if you were by the airfield, you drove by and saw it from 1820s or so. So 127,000 acres, and we have about 74,000 Marines and sailors and civilians that work here, and that live here. So with that, I mean, it's a ranch that used to have about maybe 100 or so workers and 25,000 head of cattle up until about 1942. In that spring of 42, big government came in and said, hey, we're gonna buy your land. Thank you for $4 million. And they're like, we didn't know it was for sale. But the O'Neills and the Flood said, okay, we love America too. Let us keep the northern half, which is Irvine, all the way down to the San Clemente area right here, which is Orange County line, which is literally just right there. So all of San Diego County down to Oceanside, 17 miles of beach land, 127,000 acres is ours to manage. And we're still called Camp San Onofre, Camp Las Pulgas. And we still have the ranch names, and we're still really kind of based around all those places that naturally made sense for cattle to aggregate. be branded, be shipped, and moved on to the major meat markets of, mostly back then it was San Francisco, growing Los Angeles, growing San Diego back in the 1940s. So, the challenge is to keep it still rural, even though we have a training mission. So as you drive around, you probably heard some machine gun fire, or at least I did this morning. That's in the middle of the base. We have a large impact area and a couple small arms impact areas, but the large one in the middle is the don't go in area, right? Unless you're a bison, and then you can roam freely and just take your chances. Or deer, or mountain lions or coyotes, they all kind of roam freely in the main impact area. So aircraft are dropping munitions, we're shooting sensitive dud munitions that are in there. That's a no-go for us. So it's kind of, if you will, a sanctuary for animals, and we hunt the periphery, right? All around it, and it's fenced in, kinda, throughout the whole area, and we share it with a large private owner, which is the remnants of the people who own this. So they developed all the way from, it's called the Rancho Mission Viejo real estate company, and together with the Irvine company, they developed all from here on up. So even though for $4 million we took their land, they did pretty well with developing all those communities up into almost Los Angeles. But the wild animals and all that, and how we manage that, probably turn it over to Mike.
And we talked a little bit about this earlier. We're very excited about deer season too, which we've had our best deer season on record just recently. One thing that we do here that might be unique from where you're used to hunting, we look at how much effort it takes to harvest an animal, because we're measuring the effort as it happens, and we measure the harvest. You can't necessarily do that if you have 5,000 tags in a zone. You don't know how many people hunted and how often they hunted. So our population is naturally going to fluctuate up and down. So it's hard for us to say, hey, we think the best harvest number would be 130 this year or 50 this year, because we don't really know what the deer population is doing. But if you control the overall effort, if there's a lot of deer there, the harvest will be large, but it'll be the same proportion. If there's not a lot of deer, it'll be smaller, but it'll be the same proportion. So we're shooting for about 20%. So it's kind of nice that we can do that here. That way we don't have the wild fluctuations. I feel we may have overhunted in the past, because we were seeing big fluctuations in the number of days it took to harvest a deer here. It got up to the mid-20s, which was really a lot. But now we're down to like 6.5 or something like that.
Do you do any collaring or ear tagging to monitor certain?
No, we don't do any collaring or deer tagging. No, we don't. They do that off base sometimes. The only thing that we used to do this helicopter survey, but we don't do that anymore. Now we use military drones sometimes, like a MQ-9 Reaper from the Air Force can see a deer lying motionless in the bushes from 14,000 feet in elevation and twitch its left ear. And you're like, there's one, there's one, there's one.
Wow.
The base here was kind of they allowed us to use it in preparation for World War II Alamo campaigns. It was like this specific area right here was the first place kind of donated.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's like this is where all the units came and specifically focused on like Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
That's where it all started, and then we just stayed.
Then you just commandeered it.
We just stayed.
Here's the deal, boss. You guys are leaving. We're not. So good lunch here. So check this out. Check this barn out. So years and years ago, and I quoted on the time. When did Camp Pendleton get established? Like when did they? The 40s?
40s.
Okay. So so the previous ranch owners owned a lot of this country, and then Camp Pendleton moved in, and they actually have a still working agreement with the ranch owners. They still have certain ranches around the base that they still have, and which is really cool. But anyway, this is one of the original barns and one of the original houses over there that we just looked at, and we just had lunch here, and now we're gonna keep touring. Where are we headed now?
Off to the beach.
Off to the beach.
Headed to the beach. Yeah. Headed to White Sands. Yeah, so this will be Strand's part of the thing. He's gonna configure a J hook, right?
Oh, we're
configuring we're configuring decoys. That's Trevor. It's important.
It's very important.
It's important. So
Also
I have
working
no
on the
clue.
first sunburn ever in the month of January. So
What, 84,
we're gonna see what happens.
86?
Got a good base going.
So there's plenty of times where like that I would send a tree stand and I would take no,
We'll blind you in, Trent. When everything
that?
was down in
Blind you
COVID.
in.
Well, Strand already chose the one with the back of about 20 in front of it, so that's already out.
kind of
So
stacking the deck a bit, just really trying to up the
we're
odds.
gonna catch them on the loop, so probably somewhere over there after you spook them.
Trent's gonna go downwind, shoot him on the pass coming into my blind.
Exactly right. This is where we're hunting in the morning, right?
No, this
afternoon tomorrow we're hunting this.
Yep.
So
our next stop will be the morning location.
okay, okay.
Yeah, this will be cooler in the afternoon.
So check this out real quick. Just humor me a little bit. This is where we'll be hunting in the evening. So imagine here, we're on the West Coast. So it's we got blinds here. You can see behind me and everything. And then the sun is going to be setting.
Oh yeah.
Right here in 84 degrees temperatures, and you're duck hunting and have the awesomest sunset. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You'll see the great.
Honestly, say I've never duck hunted with the view of the Pacific Ocean.
No, never. No, this is something unique.
And I-5 in the background.
In the backdrop. Yeah, it's just, this is amazing, man. It's just, even the water, I mean,
Yeah, look at
the
that.
water's
Look how calm
beautiful.
it is.
It's just it's a really, really neat place. It's got its own beauty to it. It's got cactuses. It's got all sorts of different kind of terrain back behind us. I mean, if you can see the mountains back here. Yeah.
You can almost see it on the horizon right in front of us is San Clemente Island.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like barely
Yeah,
way out there.
it is.
Yeah. So it's 62 miles away that way. And then you got the whole Channel Islands that kind of take you all the way up to Santa Barbara out there. San Clemente Island's like our island. We bomb it.
Okay.
We train on it. We do all kinds of stuff out there. And then Catalina's for the wine.
Is it a pretty big island?
It's big enough.
Big enough, yeah.
We got this place right here is a Navy, small little Navy base inside the Marine Corps base. It's our giant hovercrafts called LCACs.
Oh, really?
Landing Cushion Assault Craft. So imagine the biggest hovercraft you can imagine. That's the squadron form right there. Like we could put tanks on there.
Is that where we're retrieving ducks in tomorrow?
That's right. That's right.
Bring her on down.
That's right. They may be fired up tomorrow too, so
cool.
we'll see. But they're out here flying around. And then they land. They could. It's called flying, because they're actually flying.
Oh, they're above water.
They're
then.
above the water. It's crazy.
That's cool.
It's pretty neat.
That'd be neat to see.
I'd hope that they're doing something. If they're firing up, probably have no ducks here.
It'd be worth it.
Worth it. Yeah, it's likely cost some training.
So all those fire break, like you see over here, all those are fire breaks, and they have them all over the place. So if they do training in one spot, fire dies out before it gets to the zone or whatever.
What normally
they're
starts
all over
the
place.
fires from training, like from aerial attacks or just any of the high explosive stuff, like all of our munitions created. So like they'll set up, the range control will set up fire danger rating. So if we're out shooting, they'll start us where we limit down from, we can shoot regular ammunition but no tracer rounds, and they'll no pyrotechnics like smoke grenades and stuff like that. Ultimately they'll shut down training with live fire if the fire danger rating is too high.
High humidity days.
There's levels, yeah.
Gotcha.
So like an infantryman's dream is going to the field the day after it rains, because we can just go out there and we can do everything. But it changes. Like we brought missiles out. We can't shoot missiles a certain day because of the rating, but we can do other stuff and work through it.
Interesting.
Impact areas have been beaten down to specific areas where we can usually drop artillery and stuff there and not cause. Cause it's not like the movies when an artillery round hits. It's not a lot of fire. It's just a lot of boom and
Just
dirt.
boom. Yeah. Right.
It'll put itself out.
And the fire breaks help contain any fire to keep it in the base and not spread to Cleveland National Forest or something like that.
Gotcha. So they killed how many here last year?
Last year on base, we killed 430 some ducks.
Yeah.
Well, this and a couple of the other spots, but just to show you the difference, this year we're approaching 200 and we're already 2/3 of the way through the season. So last year was just a really phenomenal
Great
year for us. Yeah, we just haven't seen the migration hit down here like it had in years, other years. But we have ducks.
Oh man!
Like I said, they're consistently getting ducks every weekend.
Better be quick on that trigger strand.
Quick. Better be real quick. Yeah.
That's where we're going.
Where the shovelers are hanging out.
18 over here.
Yeah, 18.
We're gonna clean house.
We gotta post some serious numbers. It's gonna be fun. I haven't hunted in an area that has such a beautiful stand of cactus.
Don't slip and fall.
Don't slip and fall. Put a hole in your waders real quick. Real quick.
We are going to get our licenses to be able to shoot some quackers.
Law and order every time, that's us.
Law and order. Number one priority. So we're here at the MCX. We're going to get some tags and licenses for the hunting that's going to take place tomorrow. The beatdown, the cinnamon teal beatdown that's going to happen tomorrow. So what, is this like the store on, like the biggest store on base?
Yeah, for sure.
Is it?
For sure. There's other little ones. This is the big guy. So we can get all your Christmas shopping done. So after we get this, we can walk you guys back there. You can see the gun counter and all the like URA Marine Corps stuff. You guys can pick up.
I watch your stuff all the time.
You too.
It's incredible.
How cool is that? How cool is that? You guys,
appreciate that.
That wasn't planned, by the way.
No.
I was sitting there, I was like, I know all these faces. This is pretty incredible.
That's awesome.
Thank you. As much as y'all think us, like for us, hunting for me has been absolutely decompressing, and it just brought me a lot of peace. And
that's what Joe and we were talking. We had this same discussion on the way here.
I couldn't have wrote this.
I know.
It's
like
that's so cool to hear.
A lot of PTSD guys come back, and honestly, I got introduced to hunting years ago because, just dealing with some stuff. And then luckily I was pretty blessed to have some people in my life that were like, you need to go to tree line. And what it does, it puts you in the same environment you were in combat, with a gun in your hands, the gunpowder smell, the heart racing, and then all of a sudden, like you take a shot, but it's something good that comes out of it.
Yeah.
Instead of what some of the bad things that we see is like, oh, you're harvesting, you're feeding your family, and this beautiful creature. So that helps you adjust to life. But, thanks, guys.
If we could help, dude, if we could help in any way.
I watch your videos, and then learned a lot from y'all. So
that's awesome.
Thank you.
That's nice meeting
you. Yeah, hopefully I see y'all tonight. So
See you tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, brother.
After this, let's go. Take a. If you got, I don't know what you got.
I would be honored. I'd love
Let's go
to.
take a photo. Man. That'd be awesome. Yes.
All right, so this is an AAV, or Amphibious Assault Vehicle, is what it's called. All right, this vehicle, this platform right here, has been around since mid 80s, late 80s. Like some of these holes are actually stamped as 80. I mean, it's an old vehicle. It's been around a long time. So it's got a Cummins diesel engine is what powers it.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it does.
So weighs, yeah, right? It's got to be a Cummins.
That's right.
So 26 tons as it sits right here.
Wow.
Fully combat loaded with all the Marines in the back and everything like that. We're looking at 28 tons. So there is bolt-on armor that we'll add onto this when we are going into combat and stuff. We carry typically a squad of Marines, so it's 12 typically fully combat loaded. Yeah. So
we're good to go. We can't break it, can we?
Oh, not any more than what we break them.
It doesn't look like
So this is back here is where the infantry sits in the back when we're rolling wherever we're going. So our main mission is to take guys from the ships out at sea and hit the beaches. Okay. We storm the beaches, we get in our firefights, we drop the ramp, the guys get out and they do the ground thing. This up here, right here, is where the vehicle commander sits or stands. And up there we have two weapon systems. We have a Mark 19 on the left with his 40 millimeter grenade machine gun, and then a 50 caliber machine gun on the right hand side. So we're not a fighting vehicle. We are a personnel carrier, so we're not equipped to get like in a heavy fight, but we have enough to defend ourselves.
And can I add to on that real quick?
Yes, sir.
As a prior infantry guy, I would task my AAV specifically as a machine gun platform. Yes. If that makes sense. So like, it's not a vehicle to me. It's two badass machine guns.
Gotcha.
And that's how I would use it.
Okay.
Yeah. So typically a platoon, right? A platoon, we can lift a company of infantry. So a platoon of AVs is 12 can lift 200 infantry soldier Marines into the fight.
Wow.
Well, add those 12 vehicles, we have 12 Mark 19s, 12 50 cals. We have 24 machine guns, heavy machine guns.
Producing some serious fire.
Can put some heavy fire downrange to cover the heads for these guys as they're going in on foot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting in here all covered from 2,000 meters away shooting, where these guys have to get up close in the fight.
Yeah,
gotcha. Also allows me to get in the second story of buildings, right? So I can use this like a big ladder.
Oh, yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah, so top-down clearings
For a lot
preferred.
of times in the invasion and stuff,
Yeah.
what we would do is we'd hook up stuff in the front. We could knock down walls. We can pull up to the top of
makes
it.
sense.
Guys jump up here and go up into a building.
That makes
because
sense.
when you're typically room clearing a building, it's easier to go from top down, not go up at them, come down at them. So we'll use that a lot of times for that purpose as well.
How far inland do you guys take this?
So, I mean, so I drove all the way from Kuwait all the way to Baghdad during the initial invasion.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, that's a ball.
we only went this far. But,
Fuel capacity, you got quite a bit of fuel on board?
so we can go 300 miles
Oh, okay.
on a fuel tank. So it's 171 gallons. So obviously it doesn't get that great of gas mileage. But we can.
It's hungry.
It's hungry.
We
got
can
the power.
roughly 300 miles on land, 8 hours in the water.
Okay.
Now the water, it's dependent because the sea state and the swells and tides.
What is your top speed in water?
5 knots. It's slow.
Okay.
Slow.
It's a little tugboat.
Slow. So when we're in the water,
Is steering easy with the?
so in the water, so these open up, and we have 2 jet deflectors.
Oh, you do?
That
Oh,
suck
okay.
the water in. So as we steer, one will close, one stays open.
I buckets, right?
And they're buckets.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
That's
have 2 of
cool.
these. So when we're in the water sits about here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's
We're
that high.
Yeah, we're only about that high out of the water.
That's a great duck blind. That's a great duck blind.
Yes.
Yes. How much are these for purchase? We already got a copter coming. We've got a Cobra coming. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
But,
this is awesome.
Yeah, a tracked vehicle can go pretty much anywhere. There's very little places that it cannot go. So your driver sits right here. Okay. Downside, troop commander, the commander of the guys in the back, he sits right behind the driver with the vehicle commander on the other side. So another thing that helps us in the water is a bow plane. Yep. So this extends up and out and sits at an angle like this.
Oh, really?
To help knock down the waves from the front. So because when we can climb up top.
See how easy he makes that look? It's not that easy.
Yeah, right?
Well, there's no coming up the other side. So you guys can all come up that side.
Yeah.
Steve, you want to move?
Really easy.
Throw 80 pounds of gear on you.
Yeah. No,
And then
I
try
can
to.
imagine.
You need to be tall.
Solid, man.
Oh yeah.
It is a beast.
So this is our intake plenum. So all the air gets sucked in from here.
Okay.
And then the exhaust plenum's right here. Okay. So excess exhaust, and then our normal engine exhaust is right behind that. So when we go into flip it into water mode or jets, these actually close, and then so that way no water can get inside.
You guys have air intake then for fresh air?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then we have 4 bilge pumps. 2 are hydraulic, 2 are electric, and they're vice versa. So like hydraulic, electric, and then in the back hydraulic and electric. That pump out a total of 440 gallons a minute.
Dang. Wow.
So, because
So when you're in water, these are closed, but on land they're open.
yes. So they have different levels that they can lock. So this is wide open. Oh, you got it strapped. But you strap it for safety reasons because these things are heavy. But so you got that. You can lock it straight up, and then.
Oh, I see.
This is what we call combat lock. So you can still kind of see, but then you're quick. Like if you start taking fire, you drop that hatch down on you and button it up. Now we will, when we're in the water, we will open these up just because it helps give us better essay. But we can only do that when the bow plane is up for safety reasons.
So it deflects. Oh, gotcha.
So it deflects a lot of the water that comes off the top.
Sure.
I mean, you're getting wet. You get wet.
No matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. Especially, so in the Pacific Ocean, we actually have good waves out here.
Yeah.
You get wet, but on the Atlantic side, it's more minimal.
Little calmer.
So it's a little bit calmer. So.
So you guys everything on board you need to make minor repairs?
Oh yeah. So A section is 3 vehicles, so a section can operate independently on its own. It's 3 vehicles. We have our own mechanic, our own communication guy, engineer. Yeah. So we do all of our own repairs and everything like that. We usually have a box that has a bunch of extra parts in it.
How do you feel with tracks? I mean, you'll be able to take care of stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. So typically we have the list of parts that we normally break on a regular occasion. So we keep a lot of those on hand. So, and that's like our platoon sergeant. He's in 12 vehicle. That's his job, is logistics. So he brings us out food, water, parts if needed, everything like that.
Really
goes along with that. So
another great thing, fellas. Too,
but when you guys can hop down in there and go ahead and sit in there.
Great thing these things give you is like you're in an attack, and you're fighting, and you get a casualty, right? Like these are the best CASEVAC platform to get your guy that's hurt out of the kill zone area and get him over to whether it's a helicopter landing zone or something like that. Like these things have saved more lives than I can probably.
You can kind of hunker down on them.
Yeah. Pretty bulletproof.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot more bulletproof than standing there.
And they'll go almost any.
Yeah, it's nice to get on the radio and you hear these guys say, "I'm coming." That's what you want to hear on the other end of the radio. I got you.
And typically, depending on the terrain, because we are pretty low, I mean, you're going, if you really go give it, you can go 30 miles an hour.
Oh, really?
35 miles an hour.
Okay.
It depends on the terrain. If you're on a good flat, if you're on like hardball, like you can get up to 50.
Oh, really? Okay.
Get a little bit downhill, you can even get a little bit faster than that.
But they do great over like humps and bumps.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty smooth.
Yeah, as long as you have a good driver.
Copy.
Good driver. So, because in the front of our vehicles, you can see the sprockets up there in the front. That's the drive.
Exactly, that's your drive.
Of the vehicle. And so a lot of times, if when you're coming up, you slam down on those, you can have a guy. I've seen those things shear off, break off. Oh yeah, you got to get a good driver.
Got to know how to drive.
A lot of weight going fast.
And then we drive with 2 feet. So we have our gas on the right, normal, and then brake, because we can brake and gas at the same time, and that's how we typically I can flip this thing on a dime.
Really?
Yeah. So
I bet.
Almost. So because and then we even have what's called pivot mode, where one track will actually go backwards and the other one will go forwards at the same time. If you're driving heavy equipment, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
This is all bulletproof glass here, and
yeah.
From down below, you don't realize how high you are. But you're talking for a second level entry. This is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's way higher than it looks.
Yeah.
How's it feeling there, Steve?
You can't see. How do you just bulldoze?
Fire it up, Fire it up. Just fire it up, Steve.
Drive this one back to the hotel.
Yeah, we're shaking this one down. So this is gunner's position.
This is the gunner's position and the vehicle commander's position. He's typically stands. There is a seat right here that adjusts and stuff, but most of the time you're just going to stand, being ready.
And this pivots, this whole.
Oh yeah, it does a full
thing.
360.
How often are those open and closed in the back there?
When we're driving on land, we'll keep them open.
Always open for ventilation?
Yeah, well, ventilation, and it's a dark dungeon back there when it's all locked up. Yeah.
I bet.
It's not the funnest of trips. And then you got exhaust fumes going in there. And,
I bet.
Because
you got a 3-man crew.
Yes.
You guys train together, work together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're a tight crew.
Yeah.
And then we live in these things. Yeah, so, I mean, I'll take some of the panels off and make a bed, and I mean, we sleep in them. I sleep up top up here sometimes. Sleep on those hatches, except when you roll off and fall, and it hurts.
That hurts.
It's steel. It is steel, isn't
it?
Yeah. So how long are these going to be in service for, as far as before? What's the next thing?
We do have a new vehicle coming out.
You do.
So we have what's called the ACV, which is the Amphibious Combat Vehicle, and we're going to tires.
Really?
We're going away from the tracks. We're going to tires. If you've ever seen an LAV, so an LAV is a.
Oh, the one that drove by on the road?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Take that and then supersize it.
Oh,
it's going to be a lot bigger.
Badass.
It still has that same capability of going in amphibious.
Right.
No, they're not twice as big. They're a little bit taller, a little bit wider.
So these are coming over on like aircraft carriers and stuff. No?
A different classified ship.
But
yeah.
Ish.
But same mindset. Yeah. We actually are down below. So like the ship will open up and we'll drive into it
right
in the
out
water.
The water and just go ahead on her.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll actually lower the ship down to where there's like 3 feet of water in the bottom of the ship, and we just coast on in there.
Really?
And then they lift up.
That is awesome.
We
You mentioned this rotates 360. How is it rotating this 360?
So we have electric traverse, and then we have a manual traverse.
This is tied
so
off
all
down
the
here.
all the power is off. So right here is our
okay.
spin back and forth.
Oh,
That's a serious piece of iron.
And then these are on a turret, right? These here, you can pivot your gun.
So this has to pivot with me.
Oh, okay.
They do elevate and depress on their
But
own.
they don't independently turn.
No.
Okay.
And they don't independently go up and down either. So if I got so the Mark 19 is a big lob because it's a grenade. So a lot of times I'll shoot my 50 cal because that's a flat shooting gun, and then I'll have to elevate like this height to shoot out.
Gotcha.
So you have to actually turn this to, if you want to shoot over there.
Yeah,
you gotta turn this
I have to
whole-
turn this
Got
whole
it.
thing. The vehicle doesn't turn, but I have to turn.
I got it.
So we were talking about how we fight earlier. So I'll hit you guys with this. Is probably a good time. Like how we fight is a MAGTF or like the combined arms piece. We were talking about this with them earlier. So like you have the air, and you have like artillery, and you have all the stuff that we can drop. The idea would be like we're coming from the ship to the beach. Whatever targets that are a threat to this or the ship or the aircraft get wiped out first, right? So to allow us, it's always conditions based. So like the sea state matters and all these things, but once all that stuff's good, we'll rain, hellfire and brimstone to anything that's a threat to this to get us ashore goes away. And once we get ashore, it'll be like, us talking like maybe we're going to attack something over here. We're going to drop artillery on it to allow us to move as close as we can. And then once we get too close where the artillery might affect us, we shift to a smaller munition and then a smaller munition. And then that's when we get so close that now these are in the fight and they're shooting, the grunts are off the back. And then, maybe the grunts will come off to do a flank and they're shooting. And then we get as close as we can to where we're almost getting shot by our own stuff. And then we'll shift so that we can get closer, and then we'll shift again. So it's like a wall of lead in front of me provided by these guys as we attack our objective, if that makes sense. And they just watch, and that's why the teamwork matters. Like these guys are infantry guys that are on a vehicle, just like the infantry guys are on foot. So the teamwork matters, and the communication matters, and the practice matters. Because you can see up here, like
it's like a layering system.
100%.
Yeah.
Like you want a wall of lead in front of you, and the longer you can hold a grunt from having to like start shooting, that's the idea.
That's the idea.
I want to be in the trench. And once I'm in the trench, now I got the fight, and these guys will then move into like a CASEVAC role or move on to another objective for a link up for another spot or push past us and start engaging the next objective, and then we link up. But all this gets rehearsed and practiced out here, and you can see like the teamwork that's needed because the blind spots that they have, once I'm on the ground, like you could run me over.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So the teamwork and training between us on where my guys need to stand so they can see us and move.
Ideally, you're kind of hopscotching.
We're exactly. Yeah, we're moving up as a team, not two individual units.
Yeah.
That's where all the training is.
Training matters. Yeah, 100%. And we'll start, after the infantry guys start learning their individual skills, right soon after that, it starts incorporating like working with the AV or the helicopters, depending on what your assignment is. So like when I was a lieutenant, I was the tracks guy, but then when I moved on to a captain, I was the air guy. And so you see the same kind of model takes place over the course of time. This is great.
By learning each system as you work up, that makes them that much easier to be. That much more.
A good Marine, right, will sit down with a guy like this and just become his friend and pick his brain about, because I don't know anything about this piece of gear. He's the expert, and so the relationships matter, and that's how you make friends. I mean,
That's what you're saying. Your best friends are.
When I pick up the radio and I when I pick up the radio and I need help, and he and I have had a relationship through our training, and I hear his voice on the other end, it calms you. Like your buddy's going to come in and help you out. He's not going to leave you out there hanging. It's a good feeling.
What's the name of your guys' unit? Like, is that a platoon then, or is that?
It depends.
Okay, it depends.
Yeah,
It depends on what level you're working on.
It's like we were talking about earlier. Like they'll do their training to get his sections and all that good at what they do. I'll be over on my side of the base, getting my guys good at what we do. And when we're all good at what we do individually, then we come together and get good at being good together. Like typically in our last 20 years, we're talking 6 to 8 months to get good at everything before we.
It's an eye-opening experience to see why you guys train so hard. I mean, it's just because it matters. It all matters. Yeah.
And a lot of it is, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
Like you have to be constantly doing it, constantly adapting, and then on top of that, the enemy's adapting to our techniques. So then we're changing our techniques to adapt to them, to always outthink them, and things are always constantly fluid and moving, and
what gets me is where Camp Pendleton itself comes into play. Such a huge playground, right? If you just had, you're just going over on paper and a small area to do some stuff in, you guys have got a giant playground to do tons of stuff in, to really have like real world scenarios. You can set them up right here.
Well, it's like you were saying earlier, it's actually harder here because of all the red tape. When it actually comes into combat.
So
Combat's
there's lots
simple.
of things that. So we come onto the beach.
Yeah.
Well, along the beach, there's a lot of protected nesting grounds for birds, and so conservation efforts. We don't want to go and mess that up.
Yeah.
Because this is a big footprint, and we tear up. I mean, you can see the ground tore up and stuff from the vehicles. Like, we don't want to go into there and tear all that up. Recently, in the last few years, they found a lot of Indian burial stuff around here.
Arc sites.
Artifact sites, so we have to stay out of there. So there is a lot of constraints on our training at the same time, but we make it work, and we still get the
Cool,
job
you're
done.
being mindful of it, though.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just
all those things
railroad.
drive like planning, right? So like to just like Master was saying, like avoiding certain areas mean like while we're planning training, we're having to. It adds friction, which guess when the next time you experience friction, it's in combat. And so you learn how to even though it's archaeological sites we're avoiding here, well, when you go over to another country, it's a different kind of friction, but you're having to plan around. But we're used to adapting because the different things that you need. But combat's way more simple for a lot of reasons. It's just more dangerous. But a lot more simple in execution. But if we didn't train hard here, then it wouldn't be.
Be an SH show.
Yeah.
Same thing over here.
What's the chances of taking fire? Decent? Decent?
I can throw rocks at you if you like.
We can figure something out.
And then you're just gonna put this on, buckle, chin strap.
Okay. Sweet.
Buckle
Got
up.
some. We're going in.
What's the
Gonna go for a ride. Mission? Have fun, I think. Mission accomplished.
We're golden. This is legit. I know. I feel like a man all of a sudden.
He literally say that the Pentagon just called never taken.
He's always got the good one.
What just happened?
So who's driving?
This is legit. That was officially awesome.
That was.
Hey Trent, what's that powered by?
That's coming.
That's coming.
Guaranteed.
Oh yeah. That was good.
That was officially awesome.
All right.
Those things actually go pretty good.
They rip.
They
Yeah.
do. I was
That's
not expecting
And they're
that.
smoother than you'd think they would be. I mean, it's
well,
super.
so this is pretty smooth.
Obviously, but
right?
it's still
Right.
not bad.
Yeah, it's not too terrible.
Thank you guys so much, man.
Thank you.
Super smooth.
Oh yeah.
Definitely doesn't make you throw up in your helmet. We have, for workups, like all the requirements we have for deployment, we'll do crew qualification, which is where the crew of 3 will qualify together because there's different exercises where the driver has to be calling out targets for the gunner, the crew chief / gunner, and then there'll be ones where the crew chief will have to get out as like a notional casualty, and the rear crewman will get up, and then he'll be like,
Oh, really? Okay.
He take his place as the gunner.
Yeah. You guys all know each other's job?
Right, yeah. So when
something happens, anybody can take anybody's place at any time.
Right, exactly. Gotcha. So it's not, you learn the job of the man above you in the fleet, but for the most part of the schoolhouse, AAC, entry-level students, we teach them how to drive, how to be rear crewmen. We also teach them how to operate the weapons, how to operate the weapon system. But employment of the vehicle, like tactics-wise, and just, it's a lot of repetition stuff. You learn it as you go. You get taught by your hires, or you watch them pick up what you want to do from them, and even from your bad leaders, you learn what you don't want to do from them. Mm-hmm. Vaporizes and billows out a lot more white smoke than you think it would, honestly. When the wind's on our back going into shore, turn those on, if we can come on, big white cloud in front of us.
There you go.
So, for us, it's not so much of a problem because we obviously know where we're driving straight into shore, but for the bad guys who are watching us come ashore, they can't see us.
Okay.
Really? It does that well?
Yep.
That's cool.
This is hollowed ground, and so all this stuff was brought up here on foot. Not one thing was driven up here. And so when we get down there, you'll see the amount of crosses. You guys can walk around and see like how it's been memorialized. And then after, we'll wrap it up. I'll tell you guys a story about one of the guys that's memorialized up here.
This is First Sergeant Hill?
This is First Sergeant Hill.
Yeah, this kind of brings it all together. We've got to do a lot of fun stuff today, and like if you look at the bottom line of it, there's been a lot of people that have lost their lives for our freedom, and this is called First Sergeant's Hill. And Major Joe's going to actually have a little talk with us a little bit about what exactly this is. It's a memorial for the guys that have actually lost their lives, men and women. It just brings it all together, man. It's yeah.
Everyone's packed these rocks and these weights and everything you see up here from the bottom of this hill, which we haven't seen the bottom yet, but everything was brought up here and left here.
Second Battalion, 5th Marines. They did good, and the French awarded it to this unit. And the whole point of it is you take this spike and you put it in a tree, and you would hang someone if they acted in cowardice. And so there's only 2 units that wear the Forget, and 5th Marines is one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
You can't really get the gist of the mountain, but the trail goes down there, and you got to use your hands to get up here quite a bit, so it's a climb.
Yeah, that's a long ways down to just the ball fields and stuff. That's a jaunt.
So this is like this place here. You can see like your first time up. When you're coming up, you bring something, and you leave it. Everything up here was carried up this face. So every tire, every cross, every rock, every sandbag, every sledgehammer, everything hand carried up by a Marine or a group of Marines. Some of the crosses represent multiple, some of them represent one. It's just however they wanted to memorialize that particular person. Wow. This is like hollowed ground. You could feel it. It's like you can see like some of the liquor bottles here that haven't been touched. There's money up here that hasn't been touched. There's also trash. It's kind of like an informal place to come and get your piece. It's like
you know, a lot of the guys that brought these crosses up here were with the person that they're memorializing. So it's like the last day that you remember that guy is like buried in there. It's just kind of come up here and get closure. Like I will retire at this spot. It's like, why? So that's what I'll tell you guys. Why? So it's like I'll tell you guys a story about one of the guys that's memorialized at one of these crosses. His name was Irvin Siniceros. He was a Lance Corporal. So the first time I met him was like actually right down the road. He'd come to my platoon when I was a platoon commander, and from a different unit. He'd found out we were going to Afghanistan and called his monitor to get switched to come to our unit. So there's the worst part of that whole story is a Lance Corporal never calls their monitor. It's like a big no-no. That's how much cojones this kid had, right? He's like, I'm going to combat. So I met him on our first field op. I was actually, had my guys, let's see that airfield over there? We were over there and we were gonna come back. We were done with training. And my plan was, because my guys had performed so poorly, I was like, we're gonna run back. And so Irvin was a machine gunner, so he carried the 240 machine guns, heavy. Everyone else got like a normal rifle, right? And I'm hauling ass. I'm running quick enough to make my point, and I wanted them to keep the rifle in their shoulder because that was what they didn't do the last thing to make my point. So this kid's running next to me, and I'm moving pretty quick, and I got this little gun. He's got a machine gun. He's running next to me. And this young kid goes, "This is all you got, sir?" This is my first impression. I've never met this kid in my life. It's his first day of the platoon. He's like, "This is all you got, sir?" And I look over at him like, "What the hell is this kid?" I didn't even know who he was. And I look back, and like none of my Marines that are carrying the little rifles, the M4s, were even there. They were like falling out. And this guy was a beast. So I asked about him and learned like he got transferred to the battalion, all these different, you know, obstacles he overcame to come to our unit so we can go to Afghanistan. So I went back and I was like, I want him in my unit. And so I got him. So he was my machine gunner. Fast forward, we go to a place called Sangin. It's in Afghanistan. At the time, it was in 2010. It was the most violent place on earth. So the unit I was a part of, which was 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, got the awesome task of clearing Sangin from, you know, clearing the insurgency out. And so we go over there, and then you know, up to this point, we'd all gotten to know Irvin like pretty well. He was just the guy that made everybody laugh in the platoon because he's always doing goofy stuff, always made people smile. But he's also this guy knew his job. And like for example, he would carry all his own ammo. No one would carry his ammo. So you're talking, this dude's wearing all this stuff like you guys were wearing earlier, carrying a heavy machine gun, and then carrying all the rounds for it, ready to rock. And so our first patrol, we're moving across a open danger area. So it's an open area. It's like through a cemetery to get to another part of the village. And the squad that he was attached to got opened up on, say, from the right side. And so they made it across to safety. It was a pretty good gunfight. But then they realized they had to come back through the same area. So the bad guys at that point were waiting. And so this time they got shot at from now their left side, their front, and their back. And on the only other side was a big wall. So they're basically getting shot at from all ranges. So he's going across this open danger area, and he gets shot through the back. He stumbles to the ground and realizes, unless you've like seen this, you'd understand, like, you know what he's thinking. If he goes down in that open area, people are going to have to come out and get him. So he stumbles, he falls, he drops his machine gun, he picks it up, gets up, says he's hit, and he runs to the next spot. And he lays down and starts shooting. The corpsmen come over and start trying to give him treatment, and he literally throws my corpsman off. And he gets back behind his gun, and he's shooting at the bad guys because he's still got buddies that are trapped in that area. And he dies right there. And so the why behind this is because people like me that survive that deployment is the way that we kind of show respect, but then we also come up here and find our peace. Like, we're here because of a guy like that. Think about that for a minute. He knew he was mortally wounded, and he decided to get behind the trigger and not get his, potentially evacuated. He refused medical treatment. And so, like, I'm standing here, and a lot of my Marines are still alive today because of actions like that. So he's awarded the Silver Star, which is a pretty big deal, especially for a young man like that. His mom and dad, they still live in Mexico, so he was they were on work visas. They didn't even know he was deployed to Afghanistan. He didn't tell them. No. Wow. So he didn't want them to worry. He told them he was on a ship. So they found out he was in Afghanistan when they found out he was killed. But that's the kind of You know, we say Semper Fidelis a lot. Semper Fi, you hear Marines say that? Always faithful. That's what this is about. Like, this is the way that we continue to carry that on. And I'll always tell this story any chance I get for his mom, for his dad. So his name doesn't just, you know, go out the wind. It's a good family name. That's a hero. And that's what this is all about. That story I just told, see how many crosses are up here? Each one of those has a story just like that. That's what this is all about. So people come up here, just like those two guys that I was talking to, they were here. They fought in Fallujah. That guy that I was talking to was shot 11 times.
My goodness. Wow.
He didn't even care. He was up here memorializing the guy that died that he couldn't save. So that's what this place means to us. So it's very
Definitely
special.
makes us feel insignificant. I
Very
would say a
special.
little bit.
Me
you
too.
know.
I mean, like the sacrifice that some of these guys
amazing
did for each other. It's amazing.
Thank you for bringing us up here.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Yeah. Watching Marines fight though is the best thing ever. It's cool. It's like the great honor. This is hollow ground. Like, this is where you're standing right now. Not just this part, but this area that you're seeing here, the 62 area. This is where that regiment that's down there is the most decorated regiment in the entire Marine Corps.
Really?
Yep. They've been in every single battle that you could possibly even name that the Marine Corps has fought in. Yep, 5th Marines. You've heard the term devil dog?
Yeah.
Because of these guys. In fact, they wear a forget. They wear a rope.
You'll see it's hanging out a lot.
Yeah, you'll see. Yeah. So there's only 2 units in the Marine Corps that are allowed to wear that. That's 5th and 6th Marines. They fought in Belleau Wood in World War I, and what it really signifies, back in the old days, there was before Marines were even involved in the war, these guys were fighting, and then they retreated, and so their boss said, "Hey, anybody who retreats is going to get hung," and so as like a slap to the face, they wore their noose around them to remind themselves never to retreat. And so when the Marines showed up in Belleau Wood and fought the Germans in World War I, they fought with all that tenacity and all that good stuff. So they were awarded the forget. It's only two units in the world that wear that. That's one of them's right here.
That's where the Marine Corps got the nickname Two-Full-Hunted or Devil Dog.
Because that's what the Germans would refer to the Marines there as devil dogs.
That's it. Like, this is one of the guys that no one could bring him down. A hero. This guy was amazing.
To have that kind of brotherhood is, we talk about a lot in what we do, you know, the brotherhood and stuff like that.
It's probably pretty similar, to be honest. Like, you spend enough time with each other, you go through enough miserable, in your cases, like hunts, right? Like, it makes you...
It's nothing. I don't even want to compare it.
It's the
but
same idea.
We always said, you know, you can tell a person by spending a week in the wilderness with them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're just off your backs. You can tell exactly who they are.
The
Man.
bonds go like far beyond the military. I'll give you an example. One of my guys who was shot was paralyzed from the waist down. We found out he was getting married. And this was this last September. And so I got a wedding invitation. I was like, you know, a formality. I was like, I'm gonna go to that. It was in Missouri. So I show up to the wedding, and lo and behold, 90% of our unit showed up there. It's a massive reunion on accident, just to be here for that one guy. Like, none of us talked about, I think like 3 of us talked about going, but then like 19 showed up.
Cool.
And we were all there. It's a great, and that's the kind of like brotherhood that exists. It goes back to Semper Fi, right? It's like enjoying in the life and sharing of life with everyone.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Cassie, what do you want to say, hon?
Well, that's what she
I
wants
just
to
want to
do.
say hello to everyone.
There you go. All right, let's show them the picture that you drew us, okay? What do we got here? Just kind of point us out what we got. What do we have? Like, say, who is that? Who is that? Is that a hunter? Yeah. So Cassie actually has her own bugle tube, and she blows really, really well, and she showed us that last night, her talents. So you're coming with us tonight, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're gonna do this again tonight, okay, when everybody's around. Is that okay with you? All right, let's do it. I said okay. Deal.
And me not knowing anything.
So guys, today has been an epic day. As you saw, we got to do a ton of stuff. It was awesome. I am here with Cassidy, right? And what do you want to say?
That's weird.
Hi, I'm Cassidy. Good luck hunting.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, honey. So it's been a great day here, and I hope you guys like this video. It was like today was almost a life-changing thing, just the stuff that we got to see. So it was pretty special. So Cassie, thank you so much. Can you say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Bye. Say like and subscribe to the
Make
video.
sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, you've watched them before, haven't you? Thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome.